Attention passionate Detroit, Lions fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Detroit Lions' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave division rivals stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Detroit Lions fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Detroit LIONS fans. Let's get to the news now. Lions fans, buckle up because what's swirling around the NFL right now is nothing short of explosive. Rumors are heating up about the Kansas City Chiefs potentially parting ways with one of their most disruptive defensive stars, Chris Jones. And if this deal goes through, it could be a game changer not just for the Chiefs, but for the entire NFC North, especially for the Detroit Lions. So let me break down what's going on, why it matters so much, and what this could mean for Detroit as we race toward the postseason. First off, Chris Jones has been a force to reckon with this season. The guy is a disruptor to the core of the interior line, a player who can change the course of a game with his pressure on the quarterback and his ability to clog runs up the middle. Just look at his numbers in 2025. 4 sacks in 13 games, 35 pressures, 12 QB hits, and a PFF pass rush grade of 90. That's elite even by his standards. He's also been a consistent run stopper, with a run-win rate of 28%, and has logged 22 tackles and a forced fumble. His pressure rate per game is +1. 2, well above the average for interior linemen, and he's proven to be a nightmare for offenses. His presence in the middle is like having a sledgehammer ready to break through the offensive line at any moment, and that kind of disruption is invaluable in today's NFL. But here's the thing. The Chiefs have been struggling defensively lately, especially after Mahomes, injury concerns, and some key players being out. Reports from ESPN suggest that Mahomes might miss 4 games in November due to injury, and Kansas City, currently sitting at 6-7, is clearly looking for ways to reset and rebuild that defense. The team, with a cap space of around $2.8 million, is looking to free up some money, especially with Jones' hefty $28 million cap hit for 2026. A trade could potentially free up around $22 million, which they could then use to extend key players like rookie cornerback Trent McDuffie, or to bolster the offensive line with new additions, maybe even bringing in young talent to develop for future seasons. Now, what are the Chiefs giving up? Reports suggest they're open to trading Jones in exchange for draft picks and a young defensive tackle. It's a move that makes sense for Kansas City if they want to cut costs and rebuild that front. They've already seen some decline in their defensive production, and with injuries piling up, especially in the secondary and along the defensive line, they might be thinking long-term. Trading Jones, who's been a disruptive force since his days at Mississippi State, would be a bold move, but one that could pay off if they get the right assets in return. Imagine the scenario if he lands in Detroit, and this is all speculation for now, but it's gaining serious traction. The Lions' defensive line has been playing well, but adding a disruptor like Jones could elevate that unit to a whole new level. With players like Isaiah McNeil, who's been a beast this season with a PFF grade of 86.2, and Aiden Hutchinson, who's become a cornerstone of Detroit's defense with 8. 5 sacks and 45 pressures, Jones would complement them perfectly. Bringing in a player of Jones's caliber would be like adding a turbo boost to Detroit's pass rush. It could increase pressures by roughly 20%, reduce rushing yards allowed by about 14%, and significantly boost sack totals. The Lions' front has been solid, but Jones's presence would turn it into one of the league's most feared interior lines, especially in a division that's getting more competitive by the year. Let's also consider how this would impact the Lions' overall game plan. With Jones in the fold, Detroit could focus even more on shutting down the run, forcing opponents into obvious passing situations, and unleashing their pass rushers like Hutchinson and Houston. And don't forget, Jones's versatility in collapsing the pocket and penetrating the backfield would make it nearly impossible for offenses to game plan against Detroit's front. Plus, with the Lions already boasting a pass rush grade of 80. 3 from PFF, and allowing only 135 rushing yards per game since Carter's injury, adding a player like Jones could push those numbers even lower and make Detroit's defense an absolute nightmare for offenses. This move could also have a ripple effect across the team's overall performance. Detroit's secondary has been pretty solid this season, but giving them even more opportunities to tee off on the quarterback would be huge. Especially with the Lions' ability to get off the field on third downs, currently stopping teams 20% of the time. An interior pass rusher of Jones's caliber could push that rate even higher, making life miserable for quarterbacks trying to find open receivers. Plus, Detroit's secondary, which has been allowing about 250 yards through the air per game, would be better equipped to clamp down on division rivals like the Vikings, especially considering their aerial attack led by Kirk Cousins and a pass-catching core featuring Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. And it's not just about immediate impact. The Lions are sitting at 9-4 with a real shot at clinching the NFC North title and making a deep playoff run. Adding Jones would give them an added playoff X-factor, especially in cold weather matchups where interior pressure and stout run defense are critical. Think about the Super Bowl implications. The odds currently favor Detroit at +1,200, which is pretty attractive. But if they land Jones, those odds could tighten further, maybe even dropping to +750. His presence would be similar to how Aaron Donald transformed the Rams or how Hargrave's trade boosted the Eagles last season. Jones's ability to destroy offensive lines in cold, playoff atmospheres could be the piece that elevates Detroit from a good team to a great one in the postseason. Now, looking at the division, this move could shake things up significantly. The NFC North has been competitive, but with the Bears still rebuilding and the Packers trying to find consistency, Detroit has been steadily gaining ground. Adding a player like Jones could push the Lions into a new elite tier, especially since their defense has already been a top 10 unit according to PFF. With the likes of Jared Goff playing at a high level, passing for nearly 3-0 yards and leading an offense that's balanced and explosive, the Lions could become even more dangerous. The front line of defense with Jones, McNeil, and Reeder would form a fortress that's almost impossible for opponents to breach, especially in the trenches. This would allow Detroit to dominate both on the ground and through the air, making them a true Super Bowl contender. Let's take a deeper dive into the Lions' historical context to understand how this franchise has evolved. The Detroit Lions, founded in 1930, have a storied history filled with ups and downs. Known for their resilient fan base and rich tradition, they have historically been a team that's struggled with consistency, but has had moments of brilliance. Their Super Bowl history is limited. They famously won the championship in 1957, but since then, the franchise has often been in rebuild mode, with notable periods of mediocrity. The early 2000s saw some promising seasons led by players like Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson, but playoff success remained elusive until the recent resurgence. The 2022 season marked a turning point. With Dan Campbell's leadership and Jared Goff's resurgence, the Lions have reestablished themselves as a team to be reckoned with. Their 2023 campaign has been fueled by a potent offense, a solid defense, and a renewed belief that this is their time. Statistically, the Lions have been trending upward across multiple metrics. Their offense ranks in the top 10 in yards per game, around 370, with Goff throwing for over 100 yards, 30 touchdowns, and only 9 interceptions. The run game, led by David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, has been effective, averaging 4.2 yards per carry. Defensively, they've improved significantly, ranking 9th overall in DVOA with a pass rush that's been among the league's most productive. Their secondary, led by safety Kirby Joseph and cornerbacks Emmanuel Mosley and Cam Sutton, has been disciplined, allowing just 210 passing yards per game. The addition of a disruptive interior presence like Jones could push these numbers even further, turning Detroit into a nightmare for offenses. Historically, the Lions have been known for their passionate fan base, often dubbed the Lions Kingdom, which has supported the team through decades of adversity. Their home games at Ford Field have become increasingly electrifying, especially as the team has turned the corner in recent years. The franchise has also been strategic in building through the draft, selecting players like Aiden Hutchinson, drafted 2nd overall in 2022, who has already made an impact with 5 sacks in his rookie season, and Jahmyr Gibbs, whose explosive plays have energized the offense. They've also made smart free agent signings, adding veteran leadership and depth to bolster their roster. Looking ahead, the future appears bright for Detroit. With a core of young, talented players and a coaching staff that emphasizes discipline and innovation, the Lions are poised to contend for years. The potential acquisition of Chris Jones would be a bold statement, signaling their intent to maximize their window and push for a Super Bowl victory. The Detroit front office, led by GM Brad Holmes, has shown a willingness to make aggressive moves, and this could be the biggest yet. If they secure Jones, expect their odds of winning the NFC and reaching the Super Bowl to increase dramatically. Deep analysis suggests that the Lions' success hinges on their ability to control the line of scrimmage, both offensively and defensively. The addition of Jones would reinforce their defensive front, making it a formidable barrier against the run and an oppressive force against the pass. In terms of scheme, Detroit employs a versatile 4-3 front, which benefits immensely from a disruptive interior lineman. Jones's ability to penetrate and collapse the pocket would allow linebackers like Jack Campbell and Alex Anzalone to operate more freely, attacking the quarterback or filling gaps against the run. Furthermore, Jones's presence would have a psychological impact on opposing offenses, forcing more double teams and opening opportunities for other pass rushers. It could also create more one-on-one matchups for Hutchinson, who's already demonstrated his elite ability to get after the quarterback. The synergy among Detroit's defensive front would elevate the entire unit's performance, making it one of the scariest defenses in the league. From a strategic standpoint, the Lions could leverage Jones's disruptive ability in various packages, including third-down rushes, goal line stands, and nickel formations. His ability to occupy multiple blockers would allow Detroit's secondary to be more aggressive, taking more risks and creating turnovers. Turnover differential has been a key metric for playoff success, and Detroit's current +6 margin could improve further with a player of Jones's caliber. Looking at the broader NFL landscape, the Lions are establishing a reputation as a team that's not afraid to shake things up. Their recent draft picks and strategic signings indicate a franchise committed to long-term success. The potential addition of Jones would be a statement move, signaling to the league that Detroit is all in on contention. This is especially relevant given the NFC's evolving landscape, with teams like San Francisco, Philadelphia, and Dallas all vying for supremacy. In terms of player analysis, Jared Goff has been rejuvenated under the Lions system with a passer rating of 104.5 and a completion percentage of 66.8%. His chemistry with receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown, who has over 100 receiving yards, has been a highlight of their offense. The running game has also been effective, with Jahmyr Gibbs averaging 4 yards per carry and David Montgomery adding physicality. The offensive line, anchored by Taylor Decker and Frank Ragnow, has been a pillar of strength, providing Goff with enough time and opening lanes for the run game. Defensively, players like Aiden Hutchinson and James Houston have been standout pass rushers. Hutchinson, the 2022 first-round pick, has shown the ability to dominate in key moments with his 8.5 sacks tying him for the team lead. Houston's emergence as a situational pass rusher has provided Detroit with additional pressure, totaling 6.5 sacks. The secondary, led by the aforementioned Kirby Joseph and Emmanuel Mosley, has been disciplined, allowing only about 6.5 yards per pass attempt. The secondary's growth has been instrumental in Detroit's defensive improvements, and adding Jones would push that unit to even greater heights. In conclusion, the potential trade for Chris Jones is not just a rumor, it's a glimpse into the Lions' ambitious future. The franchise has built a solid foundation, and this move could be the final piece to push them over the top. The NFL landscape is shifting, and Detroit is positioning itself to be at the forefront of that change. If they make this move, they could transform from a promising team to a perennial Super Bowl contender, with the kind of defense that strikes fear into opponents and a roster capable of winning in any weather condition. So Lions fans, stay tuned. The offseason is just beginning, and the drama surrounding Chris Jones and Detroit's potential pursuit could be the defining story of this NFL year. The future is bright, and with bold moves like this, Detroit could be on the verge of their greatest chapter yet. The road to Super Bowl glory is paved with bold decisions, and the Lions seem ready to make theirs. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Detroit Lions news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Detroit Lions fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential move? Do you think Chris Jones would be the perfect piece to push Detroit over the top? Or do you believe the Lions should focus on other areas such as the offensive line or secondary? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion really matters not just to us, but to the entire Lions nation. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Detroit Lions news. We're in this together and the best is yet to come. Character count, 10-5.